Good day to you peeps, Liesl here once more, and today I am delighted to be catching us up on the latest of our reworking of Gemma, who is our two-string, or our double-string should I say, kind of mandolin, diddley bow, very much medieval punk instrument that has been featured on this channel quite a few times. A personal favourite of mine. If you are new around, she is on video somewhere with a different body. Yeah, I'll fill you in. Originally I made her as an electric instrument. The electrics failed, and they were the weirdest combination of electrics. I used piezos, I do believe. Although I can't honestly remember, I think it was piezo that I used. And there was a heck of a lot of wiring, which I kind of had to tape into the loom. It looked more like the wiring loom on this pretty raggedy, dodgy Ford Escort that I once had. But anyway, I won't go into that. Yeah, so basically she is, or was, a prototype instrument. I did claim that I invented this instrument myself. I'm sure other people have done very similar, if not almost identical instruments, but there you go. And there it is. She has quite a steep angle on the headstock. That was because I had a mitre that only did 45-degree angles. Couldn't get 22 degrees, which would have been more usual. But the beauty of it is, as I remember, she never went out of tune. Hardly ever had to tune this one. Tuned to a double E string, like a high E. Yeah. The top string being played more as a musical term, a drone string. Yeah, so it just kind of makes a droning sound, quite monotonous. And then you play the bottom strings and it kind of accompanies itself, I would say. Probably the best way to demonstrate is if I just lean forward for 1 second and grab Hemingway, who I did build after I built Gemma. Yeah, and I just did love the shape of this most unusual box called Hemingway, hence the name. You can see this one has the resonator part. Yeah, Gemma dead. I've had to lose that, but I might do something similar on the front of the box. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, to play really, it is diatonically fretted. I got that one out. You get the idea. You can see with Hemingway I made a much deeper heel, kind of almost like a stock really. And the reason for that is when I built Gemma, as is often the way with early builds, and my early guitars were the same, that the neck wasn't particularly well supported, so it kind of slanted that way. And I think she may still do ever so slightly. But the idea of this wasn't really to try and perfect anything, for want of a better word. I thought we'll keep her as she is, but yeah, give her a new body basically. Forget about electrics this time. We're going to go back to the old days and the roots of these instruments, and I will show you with a good old spring resonator. And there it is. So just a spring, a couple of cup hooks. Yeah, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Quite a tongue twister, but there you go. Cup hooks. Yep, holding in the spring. Now I have introduced something of a fairly steep back angle on her this time. Yeah, again, as I say, she wasn't prototype, and she still is in a lot of ways because we're rebuilding her slightly different. Floating around on the internet, there's an old photograph of a guy playing a cigar box guitar, quite a short one, and he's kind of sat with it like this, got a hat and all this. You may well have seen it. But I did notice on that instrument it's something of a panhandle, as I would call it, with quite a back angle. I probably will hand this across to Professor Liesel at the Sound Lab once we have completed Gemma. Yeah, because I think she would be interested to see what difference this angle might make. Another tongue twister, yeah. As I certainly am, and I certainly am, so yeah. I'll run you through the rebuild. So yeah, basically introduce something of a back angle, which hopefully you can see, that kind of wedge shape there. These two little supports, kind of like a pocket really, to kind of keep the neck steady. And I've used dome-headed bolts on the back. As you can see, I drilled these little recesses so that we could screw those nice and tightly into the wood. Yeah, a little bit of a support on the back, and I'll probably put something of a support possibly in here just for the bridge. Although really I've never found a problem, even with quite thin cigar boxes. The bridge doesn't tend to dent the front, but you can reinforce that. I may well reinforce the corners. I don't think I'll use pegs on this one because she's a bit of a raggedy fit, I will be honest. That's the way I wanted to do this one, yeah. So I might just sort of infill either with wood glue, because quite often the glue does dry out and you can let that dry overnight, or I've got some old epoxy resin to use up, so I think I might use a bit of that just to reinforce it anyway. Yep, have replaced the very dodgy fret, and you can see where we filled that with the carpenter's fairy dust and wood glue. It's quite solid. I have epoxied the fret in place. I'm going to leave that for a good while to harden off before I file the frets. And I did a little bit of work on the back of the neck. It's very subtle on the back of the neck. Yeah, it's very subtle, but just rounded that off. I've left the dark patches there, so you can see kind of where I went in to round that off. And there'll be a lot more of that when we do bassy bass, which probably will be next. Or I may go back to the diddley bow. I'm not sure yet, so I will keep you posted anyway. But really, I thought it was worth catching us up on Gemma. Once more, I thought it was worth videoing this because there's one or two things to explain. Yeah, she has a little support there to keep the neck steady. I love playing this one. Yeah, I really do. I've missed playing this one. So I will be glad when this one is back in one piece. Decided to go with the very simple single round, very basic sound hole. I may colour that slightly, like with Hemingway. That's all painted in black on the inside, which does give it quite a nice look. Yep. Yep, and then we'll move on to the bridge. I'm not sure whether I'll use a bolt or make something very similar to this one. Not sure yet. But hopefully we'll get right. We'll get it right. To forgive my vernacular. But hopefully we'll get a right result, my friends. Yeah. So let's hope so anyway. So yeah, that's the latest on Gemma. I do love this one. I do love the simplicity of this one. as I kick Mr. Swish over. Sorry, Mr. Swish. He is a diddly bow, you know, he's pretty robust, right? Yeah, the simplicity, you know, the lack of it, sort of too many trinkets or anything. It's quite innocent in a way. She's looking nice. Had a little extra coat of olive oil because it's what I've got at the moment. And I will continue to be working on this one probably over the weekend. I think we may have her together sooner than I thought, actually. I wasn't really going to film her today, but I thought it's worth it. I kind of got a bit of a spurt on yesterday and just got quite a lot done on her, really, just having fun. You know, this instrument isn't kind of high pressure to look a certain way or even to be a certain shape, you know. Yeah, she is something of my own invention, and yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, and I'm sticking with it. Okay then, peeps, so there she is. I will keep you up to date on this one, and in the meantime, wherever you are, do stay safe. Whatever you're doing, do stay blessed, and you know, whatever life brings, keep building. Okay then, peeps, until the next one, bye for now. Bye.